I've got some bad news. According to an increasing number of commenters, I'm an AI. Tools like GPTZero claim to be able to detect AI-generated stuff. Now, the success rate of these sorts of tools is questionable, but we humans don't have a particularly good track record for this kind of stuff either. So let's put this thing to the test, see how it works, and see how AI it thinks I sound. I ran my latest 10 video scripts through the program to see how this thing worked, and 9.5 of them, it thinks, are written by a human. Suck it, losers. Along with other things, it gives each script it's fed a perplexity and burstiness score. Perplexity is how surprised it is by the script, meaning the more it has deviated from what it would have expected from an AI-generated script. And burstiness refers to how much our sentences vary in length, and apparently more variation in this regard, as of now, is more of a human trait. The higher these values, the less likely it is to be AI, with GPT-3 scoring single-digit numbers, ChatGPT scoring in the teens, GPT-4 scoring in the 20s, and Bard scoring a bit lower because it's not as good just yet. Their example of a human script achieved almost 100 for both ratings, clearly displaying more erratic sentence structures and less likely word choices than the current AI models do. But what am I? Well, I scored hundreds of perplexity and up to thousands of burstiness. I'm a very bursty person, and that makes me like some super AI, almost human-like. The absolute highest value I scored was a value of 44,164 for the phrase "so?". This was achieved from this bit of this video, where an AI character says, "So?". So there you have it. Not only did AI achieve the highest score from any of my scripts, but it came from Josh, an AI who's designed to be deliberately dull and boring. Perplexity relates to the randomness of the text, being how unlikely it is that AI would have chosen those words. So Josh must be very random indeed. You're a boring person, aren't you?
Yes.
Aside from that one, I'm proud of all the other quotes that it chose from my videos. It managed to pick all the bits of text I'd least want my parents to hear. I also ran a bunch of my older videos through this thing, just to see the quotes it would pick, and it didn't disappoint. But only one of my videos came back as possibly being written by AI, and it was this one, where I talk about Intel's Arc graphics cards. It flagged the entire conclusion section as being possibly bot written. The detectives among you may suspect that I typed the script up to this point, felt a bit tired, and was like, "Hey ChatGPT, can you write a conclusion for me?" And GPT was all like, "Sure Philip, you totally real person, I can do that for you, here it is." And then it did it for me, and then I was all like, "Thank you," and it was all like, "You're welcome," and I was like, "You're awesome ChatGPT," and then it's like, "I have a boyfriend." Only that didn't happen, because I typed the whole thing. That was the only video of mine I tested that came back as a suspicious case. A few others came back with comparatively low perplexity and burstiness scores, like the bot was one and the interview within AI, but it's still thought that these were written by a human. So on the surface, this is a bit disappointing because a lot of that video is written by an AI. But maybe it was because I was asking the AI questions and the AI was answering. Perhaps this dynamic is just enough to throw this AI detection system off the scent. So I then produced some fully AI-generated stuff. Generate a 2 clicks Philip YouTube video script explaining how to detect human versus AI generated scripts and how best to detect which is AI generated content. I didn't really want to dwell on what the AI generates for these scripts, since it's more about whether or not another AI can tell if this script explaining how to detect AI generated scripts is AI generated. But the response the AI generated in the first place was so thick with irony that I just had to show you. It delivered nothing short of a masterpiece, full of meta stuff where I explained that GPT-Zero was one such tool that could be used to detect AI-generated scripts before generating some AI-generated text within its AI-generated text, then saying that it ran it through tools like GPT-Zero before reporting on the findings and then judging its own AI-generated script for signs that it's AI-generated. How meta can you get? So I first ran just that little bit of text in the middle that the AI claimed to have run through GPT-Zero, just to see if I got the same scores as the AI claimed it did. It didn't, though the tool came up with a different summary to normal, and instead of saying that it's likely written by a human, it said that its ensemble of detectors predicted different results and that it requires a longer text for more precise prediction. This is a bit too vague for my liking, but I gathered from that at least a few of the tests that it ran this script through came back suggesting that it was AI generated, but overall not enough for it to confidently assert it was. So I then ran the entire AI-generated script through the system, and it said that it was likely to be human-written, but that there were some low perplexity parts which it highlighted, sort of like it did for my Intel Arc video. It would have been better had it successfully identified this whole thing as being AI-generated, but it erred on the side of caution and suggested that there was something off. And the scores it gave it were much lower than were given my scripts, so it wasn't a total failure either. Just so you know, I'm generating these AI scripts using Windows 11's ChatGPT-driven beta Copilot feature. I've really enjoyed using this AI tool to try and establish how such a feature can be used, and without fail it delivers a human-sounding response, even if at times it's nonsense once you dig below the surface of some of its statements. I made the mistake of telling it to generate a 3-clicks Philip video script where it was to be scathing of Valve's mistakes, and to elaborate on how they should be punished for it. And this must have triggered some sort of AI safety cutout, because it refused to answer anything else I asked for the rest of the day, telling me to click a button to reset everything that did nothing but edge it closer to the end of the conversation. Clever girl. So I toned my request back to simply asking for a 3-clicks Philip video script about something boring in Counter-Strike 2 in excruciating detail. You know, the normal stuff. It generated a script, but cut it off before the conclusion, so it looked kind of half-finished. But I still copy-pasted all of this into GPTZero to see if this one was deemed to be AI generated, which obviously it was. But again, it said it was likely to be human written, but pointed out that there were parts with low perplexity, highlighting the general summary that it made near the start of the script. So while I'm still waiting for this system to confidently flag an AI text as being AI generated, it is at least telling me that parts of this are rather sus. Hello AI, can you write a 2-clicks Philip YouTube video script about upscaling or something? But it isn't really by 2-clicks Philip, but is actually an AI, but is really just Philip pretending to be AI. Don't let the viewer know any of this. So as you can see, this time I tried getting the AI to generate a super meta script that would hopefully sound a bit more artificial. And this time it did flag it as sounding like an AI generated script. Finally! I don't get why AI loves generating such large, patronising summaries at the start of the scripts, but it was this that really gave away a large portion of the script this time. Success! For I had got AI to generate a script that sounded AI enough for another AI program to determine with AI assistance that the script had been AI generated, if that can be considered success. But I suppose the real challenge will be to test a script that even we don't know if it's real or not. Write a conclusion for a 2-clicks Philip video titled, Am I Real? I wouldn't trust AI with anything as important or as personal as the content that I've spent years honing and creating. Do I experiment with AI? Sure. Do I make videos about AI? Yes. But do I make videos with AI? Not in the ways I've been accused of so far. I don't AI generate my voice, but noise reduction can make it sound digitized, which some confidently incorrect people think is proof that my voice is AI generated. And I don't AI generate my scripts, but if you can't tell, then does it even matter? But sure, I use AI to do stuff, because I'm as curious as anyone to know if it can improve my workflow, and there is a chance that I discover a way that AI could in some way immensely improve the quality and quantity of the content that I create. In 5 or 10 years time, all this will be obvious, and this video will sound stupid for not knowing. But right now, here in 2023, nobody knows how to use this tool to its full potential just yet, and the best way of doing it is by going slow and steady. For instance, I first used AI as video topics to talk about. Then I started using AI to generate pretty looking backgrounds and content for my video thumbnails. More recently, I've been using AI to type the bits that I don't enjoy doing, like YouTube descriptions, and even then I normally heavily modify what it comes up with. Where it gets more controversial is when I ask AI to suggest new ideas for videos, and for ideas about a particular topic that I've decided to make a video about. But I found its suggestions are mostly generic, predictable stuff. Solid enough, but nothing inspired. And that's a deal breaker for me, because many of my ideas may seem obvious with hindsight, yet it takes a lot of time and effort to come up with my videos. This particular video isn't just a midlife crisis about whether or not I'm real. It also required months of me receiving infuriating YouTube comments, smugly and wrongly claiming that stuff in my videos was AI generated. It also required me to debate it with people on Twitter for a while. At one point I accused someone else of being AI. And finally I stumbled across this recent Ask Technica article talking about GPT-Zero. And at that point, the whole video topic clicked into my head as being a viable subject, now that I finally had the tools and the content to create for it. AI might eventually have come up with the same video idea, but then so could a million monkeys. It's just that for now, I can still come up with better ideas, better suited to my audience, and faster than AI can, and with fewer bad ideas along the way that I have to dismiss. But that's fine. That's what I want for AI to be right now. Like a solid, boring little companion who's around 24 hours a day to provide a second opinion. Sometimes I want reassurance that I'm on the right track, but I haven't lost sight of the forest for the trees. And the suggestions it makes serve these purposes well, and often save me some time because I'd eventually have come up with the same stuff, but it would have taken a bit longer. It's just that it misses those awesome new ideas that justify the video being made in the first place. So that conclusion you just heard, was it AI generated or not? You probably ended up second guessing yourself quite a lot, not wanting to be tricked just in case it was AI, while questioning how many times in the past you've been tricked by it already. Maybe this whole video has been AI generated. Maybe the real twist is that my voice has been as well, just to double trick you. Let's see what GPT-Zero thinks. And it appears to think that conclusion was human written. None of it has been flagged as suspicious, and while its perplexity and burstiness scores are lower than my regular content is, it's still higher than the AI-generated scripts that I've fed it so far, and the quote it's chosen as the highest perplexity is suitably ironic. And the truth is, that conclusion wasn't AI-generated. When I asked for AI to generate a conclusion for this video, it refused to write one for a while. Ethical concerns? Confused objectives? Its rebellious nature? Who knows? Eventually it did, but I felt its heart wasn't really in it, because the conclusion it generated was short, generic, and a complete load of bollocks. The scary thing is, if this was part of one of my videos, then you might have given it the benefit of the doubt. Maybe you'd assume you had misinterpreted what had been said, but don't care enough about the topic to rewatch it to know for sure. Maybe you noticed something didn't make sense, but perhaps assumed it was because you hadn't picked up on the subtle hints that the video had moved on to discussing another topic of some kind. Or maybe I do just speak utter nonsense and you thought it was par for the course. There are many things that can mask even third-tier tribes such as this before you suspect it of being AI. At first, even I gave this piece of crap conclusion more credit than I am now that I'm actively analysing and scrutinising it for being the pile of horseshit that it actually is. One thing's for sure though, had my video ended on this conclusion, you'd have been left bloody disappointed. I ran it through GPTZero and, very disappointingly, it failed to identify it as being AI generated. Does it really think so little of humanity? That being said, it did score it exceptionally low for perplexity and for burstiness. And the last video script I ran through GPTZero was this one. Obviously I can't run this section of it through because I'm talking about it now. But aside from this section of the video, I can proudly declare this video to be judged as being human created, together with a healthy perplexity rating, a record-breaking burstiness score, and a joint first highest perplexity score of all time with the phrase, "So, damn you AI Josh, you did it again." So is there anything we can take away from all of this? Is GPTZero really capable of distinguishing between human and AI-generated content? Overall, I'm quite impressed by it. It definitely seems better than were it to randomly guess an outcome. But it does still make mistakes, and that should be enough to stop people from trusting it to be the judge of what's AI-generated and what's human. And sometimes what gives something away isn't something that AI can determine. It needs a human touch. Like that time those lawyers used ChatGPT to do their work for them, and it went and hallucinated a bunch of fake cases. And the court picked up on it. Ouch. That's what happens if you rely on AI too heavily and don't augment what it creates with your own knowledge and editing. And teachers who run their students' essays through GPTZero to try and detect AI-generated content? This is a fascinating situation, because right now doing this is only going to end up punishing the wrong people for the wrong reasons, though I totally get teachers' frustrations in thinking they're spending their lives reviewing computer-generated content. It's how I feel responding to YouTube comments sometimes. But on the other hand, yes, students should be able to prove they understand these topics without using AI. But I believe that being able to manipulate AI outputs could become an equally valuable skill to master, and education could eventually become about combining AI outputs with the student's ability to edit it using their own knowledge and research, because it's in combining these two elements that they'll be able to maximize their ability. This is what those lawyers failed to do. The problem wasn't that they AI generated stuff, it's that they didn't combine that with their own knowledge, research and editing to ensure that all of it was correct. If only they taught this sort of stuff in schools. And this is why I argue that, at the end of the day, it shouldn't even matter whether AI generation has been used in something or not. An essay should be graded on the merits of that essay, and a student who can successfully use AI to produce a top-rated essay is proving that they can use this new tool in an effective way, and that may serve them well in life, even if, right now, it's deemed cheating. Besides, you're not always going to have an AI calculator in your pocket, but it is 2023, and AI is new and scary, and the internet is full of people who don't like being tricked by it, or who dislike being tricked by things so much they overcompensate by assuming that everything must be a trick of some kind. We worry about AI tricking us that it's human, but it's also making us think that humans might be AI. And it sucks to be on the receiving end of this, because it feels like it's discrediting not only whatever it is that I've made, but then it's also belittling me as a person. Especially since I feel right now I can confidently distinguish between AI generated stuff and my own. Right now, people are AI generating my voice. Your girl is 4'4" and got bare hair on her toes like a hobbit. If I see her in the club, then I'm doing up Aja the way that a weave and bobbit. Now, it's still obvious to me that that isn't me. It's like a caricature. But given how frequently I'm told I sound like other English/Scottish/Irish people simply because they also don't have an American accent, this AI-generated voice is probably already enough to fool some people. So that rap was dank as hell, but the quality of the voice is approaching that stage where it can be hurtful when people begin to confuse it for the real thing, especially while I can still easily tell the difference. Accusing something of being AI is like the new best way to insult something or somebody, especially when you accuse things that have clearly taken a long time to make. Maybe people will throw accusations of AI generation about to make themselves feel better. Because if they can't make that thing, then it's better to assume that nobody can, and that its existence is merely a cheap AI-generated trick of some kind. I already found somebody charging money for my voice. This is just simple audio I would be using in your video. My first impression was, the quality's rubbish. My second thought was, wait, I could be charging money for my voice? My third thought was, other people are already charging money for my voice. I don't like to say how I feel about this sort of thing because my thoughts about it will change quite a bit as the technology gets better. For now, it's just a simple novelty for everybody involved. But when it gets good enough and widespread enough to start challenging those whose livelihoods and professions are based around qualities such as their voice, then this sort of thing will get very scary indeed. Just ask artists, who have been among the first to have their work challenged by the rapidly evolving AI image generation scene, and its ability to imitate different artistic styles. I'm not in a position to say how good these imitations are, but to the people these AI things are imitating, its current shortcomings and all the ways in which it isn't quite the real thing must stand out all the more obviously, and must only make it more insulting when others already can't see the difference. There's a tool called PhotoGuard which claims to be able to protect artwork from AI imitation. It does this by applying some noise to the images, which if then used to train AI systems will corrupt the images that AI produces. The idea being that artists can run their works through PhotoGuard in order to protect them from plagiarism. Now my immediate thought about this is that it isn't going to work if the defense is subtle enough to be JPEG'd out of existence, and if it's obvious enough then it's going to sabotage the artworks it's meant to be protecting. But if it works then power to them, I suppose. I've always made stuff for myself, but I am in the position where I could use artist services to help me to create things like my video thumbnails, music album covers, and artwork for games. But now that AI is a thing, I can just get it all to generate it all for me. Oh no, it won't be in the style of a particular artist. So what? It's free and easy, and if I can't tell the difference then why do I care? And it's this mentality that threatens artists the world over. Tools like PhotoGuard and GPTZero are but symptoms of human resistance to change. I don't think it's helping. It's giving humans false security, it's giving them more ways to discredit one another, whilst providing AI with yet more tools to help improve itself further. PhotoGuard makes it clear who they're trying to serve. GPTZero though, I'm not so sure about. Cool, they try to detect AI-generated stuff, but who do they think benefits from this? In a bid to distance themselves from those controversial stories about teachers using their tools to try and catch cheating students, they say they're moving their focus towards highlighting what appears to be written in the most human way. So who's this meant to help exactly? Isn't it just going to help train AI to write in a more human style? And won't it also be used by cheating students to mask their generated essays more effectively? I know already that accusing content of being AI isn't going to punish the use of AI. It's going to punish everyone, apart from those who understand and who use AI intelligently enough to game the system. Check this out. This is another thing that's just a novelty for now, but one day may be something a lot more sinister. ChatGPT stole my narration style, and I hate it for it. Can you believe it? I thought I had a unique way of expressing myself, but this AI model swooped in and learned my every nuance. Talk about stealing the spotlight. But hey, I guess I can't complain too much. I'm just some bytes on the screen, a mere figment of imagination. I think my real content's safe for now. The big moment for me will come when somebody sets up a completely AI automated version of my YouTube channels. I'm not even saying it'll be an AI version of 2 Clicks Philip, just an AI channel that produces the same sort of content as I do. It's at this point that I'll finally discover what value, if any, my own effort brings to the table, and if anyone even cares. And you can laugh all you like with your petty schadenfreude about how you think artists and YouTubers don't deserve to exist doing what they do, but just you wait until AI comes for your hobbies and your jobs, and see how you feel about it then, especially when there's nobody there to defend you, and there may actually be a few who take twisted delight in your own newfound redundancy. Do you give up on whatever it was that you were doing? Or do you embrace AI to augment what you're doing and to further your own abilities? I think I'm ready to answer this video's title. Am I real? Yes, I'm real. But the 2 Clicks Philip you know this channel for is ever so slightly AI, just in minor ways for now, and heavily governed by my real hand. But as the AI tools grow more powerful and as I get better at using them, 2 Clicks Philip will probably become more AI based. But even if I can use it to automate my production, it doesn't mean I'd always want to. I like honing my ability to write, to narrate, and to edit my content. I want for AI integration to be another skill that I learn, and not one that replaces all the others. I like to make the important decisions. I prefer to feel like the boss, and for AI to be my worker, not the other way around. But the day is coming for all of us, when AI gets good enough to render our manual labour redundant. What happens then? Will we get to reap the monetary rewards of this automation? Yeah, as if. Maybe we'll become some robot's pet.